Welcome to the 2020-2021 New Features video. This year, we've continued to delve into automation and are eager to show you how you can automate even more parts of your workflow with Premium Pro. At the end of this video, we'll also include some highlights from last year's new features that we find are particularly helpful for tax season. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. Batch PDF Attachments is a new feature that allows you to automatically upload attachments for all your returns, all at once. Premium Pro will pick up those documents and place them on their corresponding return based on a naming convention you can set in the software. To set up Batch PDF Attachments, you first need to create a folder that the software will monitor. The process works whether the folder is on a network or a workstation. You can title the folder whatever you'd like. Next, log into Premium Pro. Once your administrative user has enabled Batch PDF Attachments under Admin Options, you can go to Tools, Options, and select the new tab titled Batch Attachment Options. The first field in this menu is for the folder you just created that the software will monitor for new attachments. Next in the dialog is the naming convention. The naming convention is the core of this feature. The title of the file is how the software will read, process, and place the attachment where it needs to go. All your options for the naming convention are here. For some items, like company name, there are two options. You only need to pick one of the two, as each type of information must be represented once. Here's a reference table for what all the name options mean, and examples of them. If you hover over the buttons in Premium Pro, a tooltip will pop up and give you similar information. There are currently 3 options for the description that will automatically mark the attachment as the chosen Efile attachment that the indicator refers to. The 3 indicators you can pick from are on screen now. Any other terms, titles, or descriptions you use for the attachment will be passed over and are for your reference only. Finally, there are 3 optional indicators that you can add to encrypt, print, and roll over your attachments. These are affixed with a caret at the end of the document name. Once your naming convention is set, all you have to do is drop attachments into the folder that Premium Pro is monitoring, and it'll automatically pick them up and attach them to the return they correspond to. Once it's done, Premium Pro will move these attachments to an Attachments Processed folder. That's all there is to it. Payment request exports can now be automated. The File Options tab under the Export Payment Request options gives you the ability to pre-fill the Payment Request Export Wizard selections. Once these fields are completed, you can export payment requests much faster. Or, if you have the appropriate permissions from your administrative user, you can even export them with a single button click. To fill out the Payment Request Export options, go to Tools, Export Payment Requests. The window that opens is the same wizard you're familiar with for Export Payment Request, except that further options are available under the File Options tab. First, you must choose whether to save to a specific static file or to create a custom file. A static file will overwrite whatever was in the file beforehand, whereas a custom file will generate a title based on a naming convention. Much like batch attachments, if you choose to create a custom file, you have several options to choose from. You can add characters that will remain the same across all files as well. Then, pick what type of file you want the export to be. You can choose from CSV, PRN, or text. Next, you'll choose the dates to export. First, pick whether you'd like to go based on due date or approval date. The options underneath each of these are the same. The date range is static, whereas the last few days options will export, say, the last 30 days of payment requests. You can decide how long or short you want that window to be. Once you're finished, click Cancel to close the menu. Now, you're ready to use the Express Export function. Once you have your options filled and you have the appropriate permissions, you can right-click on the payment request schedule and choose Export Payment Request for Company or Company Group. The software will automatically export your payment request information based on the criteria you set earlier. That's all there is to it. There's no more fanfare, it just gets done. Should the export fail, you'll get a notification with more details so you can try again. To check on your export, you can go to Reports, Actions Report. The Actions Report logs whether the file was exported successfully and will also give you the file path. Those are the 2 major new features in the software this year. Now we're going to rewind and take a look at some new features from last year that are incredibly powerful. If you're not using them already, now's a perfect chance to give them a try. Notifications are one of the biggest new features available in the software this year. These are perfect for keeping your workflow in motion, even in the thick of tax season. All you need to do is go to the Rules tool wizard by clicking Add on the Manage Rules dialog under Tools, Manage Rules. First, you'll need to select what you want the trigger action to be. There's a list of options here for you to choose from, ranging from unlocking a return to successful and failed e-filings. Select which one you'd like and click Next. If you select when a return status changes, you will be prompted to select the desired status. Then, you can choose Send a Notification under the resulting action page of the wizard. Once you click Next, the wizard will prompt you to select what user you'd like to send the notification to. The software offers all your enterprise users and all your different assignments as choices, and you can select as many or as few as suit your needs. This means that you can select a notification to go to whoever is assigned as a preparer on a return, or you could select a notification be sent to someone regardless of their assignment. Click Finish and you're done. You have a new rule that will trigger to help keep your team on top of returns. Notifications will appear in the New Notifications pane. By default, the panel is located on the right side of your screen, but you can drag and drop it wherever you like. The notification bell icon will turn from green to red when you have new notifications. New notifications will also pop up on your screen as they arrive. You can select to ignore pop-up notifications in Tools, Options, User Options, and then select Ignore Pop-up Notifications. This designation only affects your pop-ups. It won't stop pop-ups from appearing for other users. All notifications will still be visible by the notification bell icon turning from green to red. This feature only ignores the additional dialog box that pops up. Unread notifications will be shown in bold. Once they're read, the bold formatting will go away. You can delete notifications by clicking on one or many notifications, and then click the Delete Selected Notifications button. Please note that you cannot select non-enterprise users to receive notifications, as the notifications are entirely within the software. Cover sheets are now available for each state in the Premium Tax module. Cover sheets are extremely useful to have at your fingertips when you're working on your state returns, as they can show you all the information you need at a glance, like general information, filing method, postmark, due date, state address information, payment amounts, and more. For annual returns, the cover sheet acts as a checklist for you when filing. You can write what attachments and signatures you need and mark them off once they're done. It's a huge help to reviewers when they're going through filings. You'll know for sure nothing got forgotten or left behind. For estimate returns, the cover sheet shows information like prepayments. If you verify your cover sheets beforehand, you can simply make sure your return matches your cover sheet later on. Some items on the cover sheet will roll over from year to year, like signatures. While the filing info page and the cover sheet are similar, they don't overlap. The cover sheet is a true cover sheet, and data written in the filing info page will not be sourced into the cover sheet. The cover sheet is located on the dockable frame on the right side of your screen, but you can drag and drop it to suit your preferences. Simply open a return, and the state-specific cover sheet will be available. You can pin the cover sheet to your screen using the pin icon at the top of the window. You can also choose whether to print the cover sheet with your returns under Tools, Options, Printing Options, and choose the cover sheet option. Cover sheets can be customized to suit the specific needs of your company and workflow. Contact your TriTech representative for more information. For some, organizing by state is easier than organizing by company. We introduce the return status schedule by state so that you can see all the returns and companies on a state-by-state basis rather than a company-by-company basis. Both reports share the same information and look. They both include the status of the return, due dates, amounts due, when a payment was made, payment types, open audits, and more. However, they're organized differently for your convenience. To change a return status, you'll still need to right-click that return in the active tree and select Set Preparer Status, or change the status in Calendar. That status then flows to both schedules. You can decide which schedule suits your methods better. There are now additional eFile options that have been added to Tools, Options, eFile Options so that you can use default items in the Options eFile wizard. These options work hand in hand with the new AutoEfile feature we'll show you next. Click the checkbox for Source from NAIC Options Autofill Options and the fields will become editable. The first option that is stored in this menu is your Options username and password. Remember that you must change your Options password every 90 days as per Options requirements. Then, you can select whether you'll pay by debit or credit as a default for all states. If you select debit, you'll then choose whether you consent to all the payments for the e-filed return or just for the Options transaction fee when you electronically file a return. Finally, there are process date options. Options allows you to select a future date to file and remit payment. The first option allows you to set how many days to wait before processing, and the second option is a failsafe that will make sure your return and payment are processed a certain amount of time before the return is due. That way, it'll always process before the due date, even if the amount of time you set in the first field goes beyond the due date of the filing. These are the same options as you've gotten in the past through the Options wizard. Automation is making its debut. For the 2019-2020 software, we're introducing AutoEfile for opt-in states. With AutoEfile, all you need to do is right-click the return or returns you wish to e-file via opt-ins and the software will file it for you. This filing process works in the background so you can keep your momentum going with your other tasks. To use this feature, your administrator must enable it under Administrator Options. When you first enable AutoEfile, an agreement will pop up. Opt-ins requires that you agree to their user agreement every time you file. Since you're agreeing to it here, that agreement will transfer to each return you file. Once all the NAIC autofill options are decided on, you can right-click on a return or multiple returns, so long as they're all opt-in states, and select AutoEfile. The option won't be available if one of the states selected is not an opt-in state. It may look like nothing is happening, but the software is filing your return for you in the background so you can keep working on other things. Should there be an error, the software will give you a notification to let you know what failed and why. Otherwise, a green E will appear next to the return when it has been successfully e-filed. Thank you for choosing Premium Pro for your premium tax needs this year. We're so glad to have you with us. We hope these new features improve your workflow and offer an easier tax season this upcoming year. You can find more training at TriTech University and more free video tips and tutorials on our YouTube channel. If you have questions, don't hesitate to contact us. For Premium Pro inquiries, use support@tritechsoft.com. For Municipal, FormsPlus, and Allocator inquiries, use msupport@tritechsoft.com. And for training, you can email training@tritechsoft.com. All the links I've mentioned here are in the description box below. Of course, you can always give us a call at 1-800-380-6407 to talk to one of our support staff directly. No matter how you prefer to reach us, we're here to help.